Rosie and welcome to my garden here at the Rose Press. Today I want to talk to you all about how to grow scabious. Now there are two times of year that you can sow scabious. You can either sow it in the spring, ready for flowers that summer, or you can get a head start and sow your scabious in late summer or autumn, ready for flowers the following year. So it takes a little bit more care and a little bit more work, but you get earlier flowers, and it means that you can sow both in autumn and in spring, and you get a longer season of flowers. Now scabious is also known sometimes as the pincushion flower because it has this lovely little kind of like, looks like a pincushion with some lovely frilly petals, and they last ages in a vase. So if you're growing your own flowers for bouquets, etc., or growing your own wedding flowers, then I'd highly recommend growing some scabious because they last for ever in a vase. They're brilliant, and they're brilliant for pollinators, brilliant for bees, just all round a brilliant one for your garden. They're very kind of tall, so great for the middle of borders. They don't get so tall like some of the things like your sweet peas, etc. So they're lovely to have kind of your sweet peas, your scabious in the middle, and then your kind of lower stuff at the bottom as well. But yeah, definitely a firm favourite of mine. I've got white scabious here, but there'll be lots more varieties coming onto my website soon if they're not already when you're watching this. So we're going to sow scabious. There's two different ways that you can do it in autumn. You can either direct sow into the ground, so you need to prepare it really well, sprinkle it, and then rake it over slightly just to make sure that the seeds are really in contact with the soil, and give it a good water. Now it's really good point to try and remember exactly where you've direct sown them, to make sure that you don't do a heavy mulch over the top of them, or you don't plant something else and disturb all of those little seeds that are waiting to come up for next year. But I'm going to sow them indoors under cover because it's a little bit more reliable, because you can obviously control the watering, etc., and keep them away from all of those things like slugs and snails, which tend to eat all of our little seedlings. So you can do either method. I'm definitely going to do mine indoors this year, and you can either sow them in pots and spread them out, you can use them in bigger trays, but this one, because scabious seeds are quite easy to let's get these out. Because scabious seeds are quite easy to see as individual seeds, it's quite easy to put one in each individual seed cell. So, and then later on I'll wait till they grow and then pot them on into there a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until we can plant them out next spring. So I'm just going to fill this up full of compost. Just make sure that's firmed in. Brilliant. So you can see I filled up a tray like this. I might need a second tray with the amount of seeds. I will just sow this one tray for now, and I might save the rest to do together as an Instagram live where we can all sow them together. Just cut off the top there. Fab. So scabious seeds are quite big, and they kind of look like a little triangle, like a bottom of a skirt, but it doesn't matter which way you put them in. If you just put one in per seed cell, and again they're big enough that you can kind of pick up as individual seeds, put one in each individual one. You could put two in and take the weaker one out if you wanted. I'm going to sow them all as one in each seed cell, and then I'll pop those back in there and save them to do some more trays and some other bits. And then I'm just going to cover them with a fine layer of compost over the top, probably about 2 handfuls for this tray. Just firm them down a little bit and make sure that there's no compost that's going to run off when you water it. And then I'm going to label the tray, and the benefit of planting in a tray is that you don't have to label each individual pot, you can just label the whole tray. So I'll put on here white scabious, mid-August. Now the ideal time to sow scabious is in mid to late August, or going into September and October. You don't want to do it too early in August, but if you have done it, it's not the end of the world. So I'll pop that in there, and it's all labelled, and I'll just give that a water and then pop it into my mini greenhouse, and then we can keep an eye on it over winter. I'll be giving you updates on what mine look like. We can make sure that they don't dry out, but also they don't sit in loads and loads of water. So the main thing to note is that it's got drainage holes at the bottom, and then you just need to keep it under cover. So whether that is a mini greenhouse or a full greenhouse, or inside on a windowsill or in a conservatory, etc., if you've got enough space. The main thing is that they have plenty of light, because as we go into winter and the days shorten, we don't want lots of leggy seedlings that are kind of trying to get to the light. We want them to be nice and strong, ready for spring next year. So that was how to grow scabious. Like I say, you can either sow it like this over autumn. If you haven't got a greenhouse, you haven't got loads of space, you can also autumn sow direct into borders. If you've got an allotment, it's a brilliant thing to sow because they are brilliant for pollinators. So there are lots of different options, and I'll also be sowing some more in spring, and there are lots more colours coming on my website too. I hope you found that helpful. I can't wait to see all of your scabious growing over the autumn and winter this year, and then all of the gorgeous flowers next summer too. Thank you so much for watching.